Now, I guess 2012 is just a year, and there's a lot of pre-scheduled stuff taking place in 2012. And one of them is the Olympics in London, I guess, or Beijing. No, I think London was selected for that. Now, there's a lot of modern things which are scheduled according to 2012. The EU is actually collapsing. The political, economic structure that it was. The EU is also the currency. So that's another thing that's happening in 2012. Is that the end of the world, or just the world as we know it, which means there's going to be a big change? I wanted to get a little bit into the history, the ancient history, because I don't really know that much, and people don't know that much either. But we can start to discuss it and maybe figure out some things. If you think you know more than I do, or you think you know something really important, then leave a comment, make a video response, if you know how to do such a thing. But 2012, does it come from the Mayan calendar? Does it really? Who knows for sure? Who's ever had a copy of the Mayan calendar? Where did that idea come from? Who are the Mayans? Some kind of indigenous tribe of people? Where? You know, these Mayans have disappeared. There could be a whole lot of questions about them, because they were not a modern culture that left any videotapes or computers of that sort. The only thing that we have from them is stones, worn down, broken apart stones at their ruins. And the interesting thing about the Mayans, because they were not like the favorite ancient culture like the Romans. Supposedly, you know, we know so much about the Romans, and they wrote down all this history, you know, supposedly, and they have all their leaders and their wars and their conquests and, you know, everything they made, and they made a sculpture of each one of their leaders, you know, in marble or whatever else. But the Mayans were not so favorited. They weren't the victors of the present world. These were like a strange, unknown people, and supposedly they have descendants running around in Mexico and Guatemala and maybe a few other places, maybe a few up in the United States. Just a very rare Mayan descendant that you might run into somewhere. But around Guatemala, there's a few other countries. There's Belize, there's Honduras, there's El Salvador. Do we find Mayans there? Mayan descendants? Yes. So around that section of the world, like whatever you want to call it, Latin America, Central America, you know, find it on a Google Earth and wherever else you have a map. Paper maps are good too. So circle around there and see, that's where the Mayans must have lived. But did they use this calendar? And like they had this that they referred to for their schedules, or, you know, mark their holidays, and say it went up to 2012, right? So all of them were sitting around saying, yeah, you know, the calendar ends in 2012. Is that what they did? Is that what's going on? Because if that's true, then why did the Mayans fall apart and disappear into other tribes and just spread out, not being Mayans anymore? Why did they do that? Obviously, end of the world, as they knew it, for the Mayans, ended way before 2012. So why is their calendar pointing to us right now? See, that's the thing that's very, very sketchy, very questionable. So in a few days, it'll be 2012, and you'll probably be watching this in 2012. Now, as you are at the point that we call the day, the year, this 2012 thing, what else do we have going on? Isn't it already, like, this idea of the end of the world, 2012? Hasn't the world already been ending for 10 years, or 20 years, or 50 years? Hasn't it been a long time? Your whole lifetime, 2012 has been ending. Everybody watching this, our whole lifetime is based on the fact that the world is ending. It's not just 2012. So another thing to be very suspicious of, it's already 2012. It's already 2012. It's already the end of this civilization. Already. So I'm just saying to think about it, if you can, and figure out, like, what is the paradigm? What is the frame of mind? What is this concept? What is this propaganda? What is it trying to make you think? What is 2012, and how are you supposed to take it? Saying it's the end of the world is stupid. The end of the world is not coming until about 2025. Maybe in your part of the world might end. Libya in 2011 already had their end of the world. March 2011 already had the end of the world for Fukushima, northern Japan, on the northeast coast of the Pacific there. That already had the end of the world. The end of the world in a lot of places already happened. 2011, and before that, 2010, 2009, 2008. It's already the end of the world. So it's nonsense. Anyone who thinks it's real or something serious or something valid, like it's an actual concept that has reality, then you seriously need help. But we're not going to be listening to you. We're not that dumb. But what about the people who are saying, 2012, which I've said before, is that let's do something good with this. Let's harness the attention on 2012 and make it a positive occurrence. Make it a positive event. Is that possible? And why bother? Why didn't we do that in 2011? Oh, but it is going on. With 2011, we have the Occupy movement happening. We have the Occupy. We have the elections coming up. We have a presidential election that is going to decide the president at the end of 2012, and they will be inaugurated in 2013. We already have something really positive. We've got all kinds of candidates, and, you got this guy Johnson, who is the former governor of New Mexico. You got, I don't know if David Duke is running. I know Ron Paul is running. I know Obama's running. What about the usual third-party candidate who's always got there's Lyndon LaRouche. There's just so much going on already for 2012 that could be positive. They're saying it's positive, just like in 2008, Obama said it was positive. Hope and change we can believe in, and blah, 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 and see how much better things are now. Now that we did that, we have a positive idea about the year. What's it all about? So you got to think. I hope I've scratched the surface at least, and I hope that you're a little bit smarter. If you're not, then write a stupid comment below, or if you have any more questions.